So, after a little bit of a break, I come back and I want to talk about Reborn as a demonic tree. I mainly want to power scale it. I want to talk about where I think everybody scales to, up to chapter 319. I will start off with Elder Brent. I would put him at multi-city block, or AA, since he is at the peak of the Soulfire realm, one stage away from Starcore. I would also put Mr. Choi around this level as well. So if they got mad one day and they just wanted to go off, they'll be destroying multiple city blocks in a couple of hits. And that's exactly where both of them would be at. I would say that the Star Core realm is when we are going to be hitting the city and mountain ranges off of the Evergreens and Winter Wraths and Ravenborns. That is when they went supernova, and during their fights, they were destroying buildings on accident and making weather storms. This could be scaled pretty high up to mountain, but I'd say city to mountain is a good range for them. And obviously there's the differences of a peak and the start of a core. But if we're taking Julius's estimation and we're giving him a literal star that they're able to just make in their chest, this would scale even higher, especially with the Nascent Soul, which is a higher realm than the Star Cores. I would say Amber, Margaret, and Mo aren't really relevant in this, but Grand Elder, Magnus, and the Lunar Shade Grand Elder are definitely relevant in this. They're both title holders, which I believe is a military veteran status. Regardless of the fact that they are in different stages of their actual cultivation. Magnus being almost an entire 10 realms beneath the Grand Elder of the Lunar Shade. Magnus and the Grand Elder of the Lunar Shade family are title holders. I believe this is a military veteran status. It is to speak of their experience in war, and not necessarily a power in the sense of how strong they are, as both of them hold it. Larry, the Grand Elder of the Lunar Shade family, and the Celestial Warden of the Eternal Pavilion are all in the same strength in the 6th stage of the Nascent Soul realm, and Larry was able to hold the Grand Elder back despite the experience difference. So Star Cores seem to be more dependent on Chi, like Void, Fire, Spatial, and Moonlight, but 9 cores are around City to Mountain, or 6B to A. Nascent Souls I would put at Country. This would also go to Vincent Nightrose, the patriarch of the Blood Lotus sect. He was able to ward off the Eternal Pavilion, but it didn't necessarily take or suggest it took both the Celestial Warden and the Lunar Grand Elder to hold him back. So it might just be a influence, not necessarily Vincent being completely over the two. And me putting them both at country, or all four of them at country, is a bit of a lowball, I would say, but I'm fine with that. We don't know how strong the Monarch and Divine realms are, but I don't think it'd be too far out of line to say that the Monarch realm would be from Continental to Moon, 6A and 5C in strength. The way that the Celestial Warden talked about the Divine Realm, it might just be straight up 4th dimensional, giving them an infinite amount of power. I think Douglas making an entire city for 100,000 people at the Soulfire Realm, the 6th stage, is also a fine indicator of their strength and their power. We don't know the exact difference between Larry, the Grand Elder, the Celestial Warden, and Stark Wars, but Larry was able to simply one-shot Jade Sentinels that were coming at Stella, and the Elders of the Lunar family were also one-shotted by Larry. I don't think this should be an outlier of any kind, as he did both to both groups, and he was able to, and this should also be given to the Grand Elder. He talks to his elders the same way, in spite being injured and suppressed, missing a lung and missing an arm, and still threatening people to squish them like bugs, can be a good indicator of how strong he is compared to the people around him. I think Ash is a very specific... Ash and Stella are specific cases of people hitting much higher than their cultivation implies. Seeing how Stella was able to fight Nox at the 9th stage, despite being at the 4th, and Daniela also would be in this realm, as she was able to take on multiple Jade Sentinels, despite being at the beginning of the Star Core. And Ash would be the perfect example of somebody hitting much higher than their weight, than their cultivation actually implies, because he was able to take the chi from his offsprings. Speed is a little tricky due to, in chapter 19 and 20, they were talking about being faster than bullets, so this would put them at Mach 3 to 6, and being able to travel faster than light. This would put them at faster than light, especially in the nascent soul realms. with Larry and the Grand Elder of the Linear Shade family. Vincent Nightrose is able to smell bloodlines, so this would be a good way to fish people out that he wants. There is also Ashlock being able to stretch his roots for 1,000 miles, and he has yet to hit any families, which just shows you how large this world is. Yeah, I'm interested to see what else can be taken out, since that's the extent that we can actually give these people. If we are going off of Ashlock's assumptions on 316, cultivators can live for thousands of years, with that assumption being reasonable, seeing how long people can actually live. Yeah. Welcome back, me, eh?